Hi friends, welcome to Stamping with Wow. It's Jennifer Sasaki, your favorite Stampin' Up demonstrator. Today I have a sketch for you from Laura Whittaker. She does a free sketchbook. You can find it online. I just love this sketch. I think it's practical for the one photo layout I'm going to be doing today. I'm going to be using the In Good Taste Designer Series paper from Stampin' Up. This is a sheet from that paper. It's it's like a gray granite kind of paper, and then I'm using a Night of Navy. The gray paper I cut at 3 inches and the Night of Navy's at 4 inches. And I just love that background paper of the wood slats. And then I'm going to add some scallop medallions or scallop circles using this texture paper. This side has a bumpy look to it. It's a smooth flat paper, but it looks like it has texture. And the other side is a nice soft wood grain. And originally I'm going to use that bumpy side, but I do turn it over in the end and use the wood grain side. Right now I'm straightening out those texture pieces so they cut correctly on the diagonal. Not diagonal, straight, so they don't look like the texture's crooked when I slice them. And I'm just using my Stampin' Up trimmer and I'm laying them all along the gutter that does the slicing. So I did 6 circles and now I have 12 pieces. So I'm following the sketch with the center piece. I will add a circle to it. It won't be a giant circle like the one in the sketch, but I'm getting an idea of what I want to do with these scallop pieces and how my photo is going to fit with them. This photo is of me and one of my good friends going out for a night out here in Vegas. And the background is a mirror background and it had a champagne-y gold kind of look to it. So I wanted to be really careful with the background pieces I picked for my scrapbooking. Right now I'm going to cut 2 2-inch strips of basic white paper. And I'm going to be using that between the background page and the Night of Navy piece I have there. It just needs a little bump because those scallop pieces are a little bit larger than the Night of Navy that hangs out. Even though I'm going through the process of this right now, identifying my layout, I don't end up going with this. It slightly gets modified as we get into this. The Night of Navy piece behind there is going to get die cutted, and that's about all that's really going to change in here. So again, I'm staring at it, trying to figure out what more. So I'm thinking of these vellum lace doilies. I don't end up using them. The next thing I come up with is to add that circle, and that is like the game changer of the page. So I'm considering this also in the In Good Taste suite, not suite, but designer series paper. This is a piece of silver foil and a piece of champagne foil. I'm deciding if these foils would work with this photo. Obviously I'm looking for a little glitz. So now this is a Sahara Sand with a foiling on it, and this is from the Love You Always suite in our January through June mini catalog. This paper you get, I think you get 9 sheets or 6 sheets, 2 of each. And that Sahara Sand Foil, and that's a Sahara Sand Foil, which is also in it's called Love You Always Foil Sheets, and that comes with Blushing Bright and one other color. I end up going with the floral over the solid foil. I will use that Sahara Sand Foil later on, but right now I'm going to cut out a 6-inch circle using this Love You Always Specialty Designer Series paper. This Sahara sandpaper is perfect for this layout. The picture in the layout has a champagne-y color quality to it with that mirrored background. So I think this, instead of playing directly with the color of the mirrors in the picture, it's lightening it up, but it still gives it that sparkly, glitzy kind of look, because this Sahara sandpaper has some, I don't think it's gold foiling, but it definitely has a spark to it. So I cut my circle, the 6-inch circle, in half, and I layered one piece to the right on top, and I layered the other piece to the left on the bottom. I'm going to be using these Lovely You stamp set. I like the sentiments. I think they actually work with this photo for being a scrapbooking page. And this is when I'm realizing that that Night of Navy just needs to be something more. So I'm trying to figure out what I want to do for this paper, and then I pull out these Many Medallion Dies. They're in our annual catalog. They're in a bundle right now that's called Mini Mates Bundle. It comes with a stamp set that has a bunch of sentiments on it, and it's a bundle right now for $51.25. If you wanted to order that, it would qualify you through the end of February for designers, for some celebration product. So I've used the die, and now I'm going to slice these dies in half. Originally I thought I needed 3 to fill in the 12-inch space, but 2 is sufficient. I'm not worried they won't meet in the center, but my photo's going to kind of cover the center. So I'm going to adhere these to the back side of this gray paper. I'm going to only attach the first half row that was sliced in half to the bottom of this. And I'm going to do it on all 4 corner sides. And again, the center will have a gap, but in the end, the gap isn't an issue. It just looks like it was part of the page design. I think this page is coming out really cute. I was really pleased with what I ended up with in the end. I think the picture got the justice to stand out, and the page had enough intricacy that it looked complete. So the 2-inch white piece of white cardstock in the back is necessary because the background paper has a very busy texture, so it's easy for anything on top of it to get lost. But what this 2-inch strip of basic white cardstock does is it just lets that medallion die stand out. I just think that medallion die looks so pretty right there. It just gives a very ornate feel on top of that wood grain. So now I'm going to start working on my layout again, and it becomes apparent to me that everything's so straight that the photo's going to have to be a little wonky, as in slanted. So these half circles are going to go in between the Night of Navy die and the piece of basic white cardstock. So I want that half circle to come through the Night of Navy die punch that I have there. And then I'm doing the same thing, even though it's been cut off in my video, on the bottom left side. And here I'm looking at my half scallop circles with the bumpy texture, and I decide it needs to be the wood texture because I think that medallion die just makes it a little more busy, so we want something smoother for the eye. And I know I'm still looking at this page thinking it needs something else. It's not quite there yet. This is a long dramatic pause. So I was looking at other things in my scrap room. So I'm looking at these other dies that come with the medallion die, and I'm actually going to use that chain link die with the Sahara Sand solid foil paper. So I'm just going to cut a 4-inch strip. When I don't know what to do with a piece of 12 by 12 paper, especially for Stampin' Up type of things, I like to start with 4-inch strips because you can always use a 4-inch strip on a card base. So I can't go wrong slicing my paper into 4-inch strips. So what I did is I die cut it out. I couldn't decide between the diamond chain and the chain link. So I cut them both out in the Sahara Sand Foil that's in the Love You Always foil sheets. So I ended up going with 4 of these chain links, and they're just going to be surrounding the photo and in all the 4 corners where the die cuts went. I think that they look really nice, and they add just the right amount of foily sparkle kind of stuff that I'm looking for. So here we are, looking at my die cut again, and I think this is when I'm about done with the whole layout. I'm trying to finalize where I want everything. And I know that this is when I probably start deciding I want to add splattery bits. Oh, nope, sorry. I'm going to do my sentiments now. So on this lovely U, there's a lot of sentiments that are great for cards, but there's some that are simple enough that you could easily use in a scrapbook page. So on this page, I ended up using Just Because, Smile, Cherished Friend, and Trust Me, You're Lovely. I'm also going to be using the Treasured Tags Pick-a-Punch from our January through June mini catalog. And I'm using the Black Mementos ink. I like these Treasured Tags Pick-a-Punch. I like the cuts it puts on the ends, and I've actually really enjoyed using the different types of pick-a-punches we have. So they're a punch set that they're individual, but they can do 2 different punches, anywhere from a 1/2 inch to 1 inch long. They have 3 graded edges, so it easily accepts a 1 inch, a 3/4 inch, and a 1/2 inch. And it shows you on the punch how much it's going to cut off if you use those varying sizes. And it's easy to layer with this punch set, so it gives you just an extra oomph in your cards and on your scrapbook pages. So I went with 4 rather simple sentiments that I think would work well with the card. And I think my punch tags were probably no more than 3.5 inches long. I'm using the Mementos ink because that is scrapbook safe. Our colored inks, if you do want to use them in a scrapbook page because they're so pretty and fun, they are not, I don't believe they have the longevity because I think they are a watercolor based ink. So there's 2 different punches on this Treasured Pick-a-Punch. And so I'm going to do both edges. So 2 of the sentiments are going to have the rounded, and 2 of them are going to have the more pointy edge. I just couldn't decide between the 2, so I went with all 4. I mean, both of them on the 4 sentiments. So I'm just slicing them on half. I'm not really paying attention to the measurements I'm using. I'm just making sure that there's enough space on both sides of the words. I'm really happy with these sentiments. I'm glad I found this stamp set when I was searching through my stamps, and I was happy that it's still available in our annual catalog. So it's a win-win all around. I'm getting the page that I really want, and that's kind of a struggle for me, is to use all Stampin' Up products and to really create a dynamic scrapbook page. It shouldn't be a struggle, but it is for me because I just don't own everything that Stampin' Up has out there. So plus I also want to make sure it's true to my taste in scrapbooking. You know, coming from 25 plus years of paper crafting, it's I like to do some mixed media and stuff. So here I'm bringing out the champagne mist that we have in our annual catalog. It's an interesting product. I've added it with alcohol, not right now, but in the past, and put it in a miniature spritzer bottle that Stampin' Up carries, and you can use it to, you can spray it directly on your paper or cardstock, and it just adds a nice sparkle mist to your paper. So I'm starting to adhere down my goodies because there are a lot, and I wanted to get these scallops in place before I forget where I wanted to put them, because soon I'm gonna do some splattery bits with that champagne mist. And I just want everything locked down so I don't have to keep adjusting it every time I turn around. So those scallop pieces, they move every time you breathe. So I just wanted, once you know your layout's good, it's good to start laying pieces or gluing them down as you go, because you know, the more you add on to your page, the more you have to glue in the end. So I'm just gonna, this is gonna be a little struggle because I gotta make sure this paper is straight with those lines of that background page, because if those aren't straight to those lines, then this is gonna look really crooked. There we go. I'm really happy with this. It's not a, like, it has some drama to it, but it's, I think the layout, the background is pretty, it's pretty. There you go. I just feel like the background has some ornateness to it, but it doesn't overtake from the photo. So I'm really happy with the balance I was able to achieve in this page layout. So I'm just using our Tombow wet adhesive. It's a acid-free, photo-safe type adhesive, and so it's very good to use with your scrapbooking supplies. I think most of our adhesives fall in that category. I just find, especially when you're adhering to uneven surfaces, the glue will get into more crevices. So like, because I'm putting these scalloped circles on top of that die cut, the glue will adhere to not only the die cut, but if it needs to, it'll adhere to the paper even behind the die cut. So if I'm not grasping enough of the die cut, I know that it's going to be, it's in there more than if I used a surface tape type adhesive. And then on these chain links, what I'm doing is just going to add the Tombow wet adhesive to the diamonds. I didn't want to struggle with the chain link portions very thin, and I'm getting enough adhesive on the diamonds that I don't feel like this will fall off. And I'm butting those chain links up right at that line where the scallop and the gray paper meet, just so that you can't see that transition. It's just taking over that transition right there. I really like how these chain links came out. I think they're really cute, and they're perfect for what I was trying to capture, like just enough bling but not overpowering. and the fact that they don't meet in the middle won't be a problem because my photo will cover that portion of it. So it took a while to get this page. Like, this video was over an hour long before I condensed it. I speeded it up, and now here's the champagne mist. And I'm just using a paintbrush, and you don't really have to worry about this ruining or needing special cleaner. I washed my paintbrush out with water and all of the champagne mist came out. So I'm just splattering bits all over. I'm going to end up using a tool to smack the paintbrush because the paintbrush isn't giving me that many droplets or splatters right now. So I'm just whacking it now with another tool. So I'm just seeing how my photo is going to look if I have enough splattery bits on it. And here I'm showing you my splattery bits. I'm moving the scrapbook page aside so it can dry. And in the meantime, I'm going to mount my photo onto a piece of basic white cardstock. I'm only leaving about a 1/8 inch border on this scrapbook page or picture. I just wanted enough border to help it stand out on the background. Now I'm popping my sentiments up on dimensionals. I'm using 2 dimensionals per sentiment, and that's just going to help them stand up a little bit more in my page layout. I'm really happy with how my page layout came. So hopefully the splattery bits are dry. I'm going to put some adhesive on my photo, but I'm still afraid the splattery bits might be a little damp still, so I didn't want to get champagne foil all over my picture. And here I'm going to make it slightly off, slanted, and I'm going to add my sentiments. I'm going to go starting from the top left down to the bottom right in a diagonal tiered kind of layering. Again, unfortunately, I didn't realize my bottom half wasn't being covered in my video, so I apologize that you can't see the bottom half very well. And that tool I'm using is called Take a Pick tool, and it's a very versatile tool. The ends are interchangeable, so the tip I have in right now is a pointy tip, so I use it a lot to remove the dimensional paper backing. It also has a scallop end that you can flip from the pointy end to the scallop end, and the other side has a putty end that's great for adding embellishments to your cards and your scrapbook pages without really getting frustrated because you can't get it with your nails. So this is the page. It's done. I'm so happy. See those sparkly bits? It came out great. I'm really happy with this. Thank you for watching my video today. And if you could, please like and subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching. Bye now.